About the previous year MCQ question of atomic physics. The first question that was asked in AIPMT 2005, that is, for a certain atom, there are energy level ABC of a certain atom corresponds to increasing value of their energy. That means EA less than EB less than EC. Choose the correct option if the lambda 1 is nothing but a wavelength representing the transition from C to A, then from lambda 1 is from C to B, then lambda 2 is from B to A, transition from B to A, and lambda 3 corresponds to C to A, transition of electron from C to A. So there are the three wavelengths is given. So which of the following is the correct option? So according to formula of energy of photon, E is equal to Sc by lambda. That means EC minus EA, that is the transition from C state to A state. The energy difference between these two layers or two state is EC minus EA is equal to EC minus EB plus EB minus EA. Now the transition from C to A, the corresponding wavelength is equal to lambda 3. So Hc by lambda 3 is equal to, and transition from C to B, that is lambda 1, so is equal to Hc by lambda 1 plus EB minus EA. We write here Hc by lambda 2. That means corresponds to C to A, the transition from C to A, corresponding wavelength is lambda 3, transition from C to B, corresponding wavelength is lambda 1, and from transition from B to A, we take lambda 2. Now Hc cut on the both side of the equation. So remaining quantity is 1 upon lambda 3 is equal to 1 upon lambda 2 plus 1 upon lambda 1. After simplify, lambda 3 is equal to lambda 1 into lambda 2 divided by lambda 1 plus lambda 2 is the correct answer. That is the relationship among these three wavelengths. So option B is correct for question number 1. Now question number 2 that was asked in AIPMT 2009, that is regarding ionization energy of electron in the hydrogen atom in a ground state is given as 13.6 electron volt. The atom are excited to higher energy level to emit the radiation of 6 wavelength. That means the number of spectral line is given. The atom are excited to higher energy level to emit the radiation of 6 wavelength. So 6 is the number of spectral line, and the maximum wavelength of emitted radiation corresponds to transition between. So we have to find out the transition from the one state to another state. So the number of spectral line due to the transition of electron from nth orbit or nth state to lower state or lower orbit is given as number of spectral line capital N is equal to small n in bracket n minus 1 by 2. That is the basic formula for number of spectral line. Now here that n is equal to 6 is given, that the maximum wavelength is possible when the transition must be shortest. For example, if the transition from n2 to n1, that is called as the shortest transition. That means the maximum wavelength we get. So for maximum wavelength, the transition must be as short as possible. So number of spectral line capital N is equal to 6 is given. So 6 is equal to n in bracket n minus 1 by 2. So n square minus n is equal to 12. So n square minus n minus 12. After simplify this equation, we get a 2 factor, that is n minus 4 and n plus 3. N minus 4 is equal to 0. That means after equating n minus 4 equal to 0, we get n is equal to 4 and n is equal to minus 3. But n is equal to minus 3 is not possible. So only possible thing is 4. So in order to get the maximum wavelength, the transition should be as short as possible or shortest. That means n is equal to 4 to n is equal to 3 is the correct answer. As the first line of series has a maximum wavelength, therefore the electron jump from 4th orbit to 3rd orbit. So option number A is correct for question number 2. Third question that was asked in NEET 2016, if an electron in hydrogen atom jump from 3rd orbit to 2nd orbit, it emits the photon of wavelength lambda. When it jumps from 4th orbit to 3rd orbit, the corresponding wavelength of photon will be. So the wavelength of emitted photon is given by this expression or equation, that is 1 upon lambda is equal to Rydberg constant R in bracket 1 upon n2 square minus 1 upon n1 square. So that case number 1, that transition from n1 equal to 3 to 2nd orbit, n2 equal to 2nd orbit. So put the value in place of n1 square, that is your 3 square, in place of n2 square it is 2 square. So 1 upon lambda is equal to R, in place of 1 upon n2 square we write here 2 square minus 1 upon 3 square, that is your n1 square. So 1 upon lambda R is equal to 1 upon 4 minus 1 upon 9 in bracket. So after simplify, that is 5R divided by 36, that is equal to 1 upon lambda. So 1 upon lambda is equal to 5R by 36, that is your equation number 1. Now the second case, the transition from 4th orbit to 3rd orbit, that means n1 is equal to 4 and n2 equal to 3rd. So 1 upon lambda dash corresponding wavelength is nothing but 1 upon lambda dash is equal to r in bracket 1 upon n2 square, that is 1 upon 3 square minus 1 upon n1 square 1 upon 4 square. So 1 upon lambda is equal to r in bracket 1 upon 9 minus 1 upon 16, taking 144 as the LCM. So 1 upon lambda dash is equal to 7r by 144, that is your equation number 2. Now dividing equation 1 by 2, that is 1 upon lambda divided by 1 upon lambda dash, that is 5r by 36, that is your equation number 1, that is 5r by 36. 1 upon lambda is equal to, and 1 upon lambda dash is nothing but 7r by 144. After getting simplified, lambda dash comes to numerator and lambda in denominator. So lambda dash by lambda, that is nothing but 5r into 144 divided by 7r into 36. That will give the answer lambda dash is equal to 20 by 7 into lambda. So corresponding wavelength is lambda dash is equal to 20 by 7 times lambda. Option number D is correct. Question number 4, that was asked in NEET 2018. The ratio of kinetic energy to the total energy of electron in a Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom is. So what is the relationship among the total energy, kinetic energy and potential energy? Total energy and kinetic energy are of same value, that E is equal to minus K, only the minus sign is there in case of total energy. So total energy is equal to minus Z square upon 8 pi epsilon naught R. Kinetic energy is Z square by epsilon 8 pi epsilon naught into R, but it is positive. And here potential energy is again negative, which is minus Z square upon 4 pi epsilon naught into R. Kinetic energy is represented as K and potential energy is denoted as capital U. So E is equal to minus K. The total energy and potential energy, total energy and kinetic energy are of same value but opposite sign. So E is equal to minus K, and potential energy, which is just double of these two energy, that is potential energy is 2 times that of kinetic energy and 2 times more than that of total energy and potential kinetic energy. So that is E is equal to minus K, or you can say the total energy and kinetic energy, which is 1/2 of potential energy. So here we have to find out the ratio of total energy to kinetic energy. That means E is equal to minus K, then E by K is the ratio, that is nothing but minus 1 to 1. So 1 by minus 1 is the correct answer, that is nothing but the ratio of kinetic energy to the total energy of electron. So ratio of kinetic energy to the total energy is nothing but ratio of kinetic energy to total energy. So here is kinetic energy to total energy E, that is nothing but minus 1 to 1. Again it is same, that is E to K, that is 1 minus 1 to 1. That is the correct option. That option number D is correct. That the ratio of kinetic energy to total energy of electron in Bohr atomic hydrogen atom is 1 to 1 raised to minus 1. Option number D is correct. Question number 5, that was asked in NEET 2017. Suppose the charge of proton and electron differ slightly. One of them is minus E and other is E plus delta E. If the net of electrostatic force and the gravitational force between these two hydrogen atoms placed at a distance much greater than the atomic size, because atomic size in Fermi meter apart is 0, then delta E is the order of. We have to find out the delta E, the magnitude of delta E, and mass of hydrogen that is given 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. So first of all, there are two charges given. One of them is minus E and other is E plus delta E. So what is the net charge on a hydrogen atom? The net charge on a hydrogen atom is nothing but Q net is equal to E plus delta E minus E. That means E cut. So the net charge on a hydrogen atom is small q is equal to plus delta E. Now let the D is the distance between these two atoms. One is proton and one is electron. So let the D is the distance between them. So what is the gravitational force? According to G m1 m2 by d square, it is nothing but G ms square by d square, where mh is nothing but the mass of hydrogen is given. So in place of m1 m2 we put here mh into mh. So it is G ms square by d square. D is the distance between these two ions, and F is the electrostatic force, that is K q1 q2 by d square, that is nothing but the net charge Q is equal to delta E. So Q1 into Q2, that means delta E into delta E, it becomes delta E square. So K times delta E square upon d square, where G is the gravitational constant, universal gravitational constant, and K is nothing but Coulomb's constant. Now, based on these two equations on equilibrium, by equating the gravitational and electrostatic force Fe and Fg, that we get equation number by equating 1 and 2 equation, that is we got finally that G ms square upon d square is equal to K times delta E square upon d square. Subjecting delta E square, then we get G ms square, d square is cut, so G ms square by K. So after getting simplify this equation, that G has a value of 6.67 into 10 to minus 11, that is ms square is nothing but the mass of hydrogen that is given in data, that is 1.67 into 10 to minus 27 whole square, divided by Coulomb's constant is nothing but 9 into 10 to the power 9. So delta E is nearly 2.06 into 10 to minus 37 Coulomb. So approximately is nothing but 10 raised to minus 37 Coulomb. That is your delta E. The charge on delta E is nothing but approximately 10 raised to minus 37 Coulomb. So option D is correct. Next question, that is question number 6, that was asked in NEET 2016. When an alpha particle of mass m is moving with velocity v, bombards on a heavy nucleus of charge Ze, its distance of closest approach from the nucleus depends on ms. So you can say that what is electric potential energy and what is your approach to solve this question, that at the closest distance of approach, the kinetic energy of particle or atom will totally convert into potential energy. At a closest distance, the kinetic energy of substance or particle will completely convert into potential energy. So equating these two energy, that is 1/2 mv square is nothing but that is your kinetic energy Ke, and Kqqq by d is nothing but that is your potential energy, electrostatic potential energy U. So here is the electric potential energy, U is equal to Kq1 Q2 by R. Based on this equation, here the kinetic energy is converted into potential energy, that is Kq capital Q small q by d. So you can say that these two, that this quantity on the right hand side, that is K is Coulomb's constant, Q means the charge, and here small q also charge, and that your velocity is also constant. So your mass is depend that m mass is inversely proportional to 1 upon distance or 1 upon d. So you can say d is proportional to 1 upon m. So we have to identify the true relation between mass and distance, that is distance is inversely proportional to 1 upon mass. So the correct option is 1 upon m. So at a closest approach, your distance d is inversely proportional to 1 upon m, because at closest distance of approach, kinetic energy of particle will be completely converted into potential energy. So option C is correct. Question number 7, some energy level of molecule are shown in figure. The ratio of wavelength R is given as the ratio of lambda 1 by lambda 2. So as shown in figure, you can say that is your lambda 1 is the corresponding wavelength between minus E and minus 2E, and lambda 2 is the wavelength corresponds to transition from minus E to minus 4 by 3 E. So first of all, that in data that R is given, that R is equal to lambda 1 by lambda 2. The ratio of wavelength R is nothing but lambda 1 by lambda 2. Based on formula of energy of photon, E is equal to Sc by lambda. So lambda is equal to Sc by E. So lambda is inversely proportional to photon energy 1 upon E. So R is equal to lambda 1 by lambda 2. So lambda 1 is proportional to 1 upon lambda E, lambda E1. Lambda 1 is proportional to 1 upon E1, and lambda 2 is proportional to 1 upon E2. So lambda 1 by lambda 2 is the ratio of wavelength, that is nothing but lambda E2 by lambda, lambda 1 by lambda 2 is nothing but lambda delta E2 divided by delta E1. So R is equal to E by 3. First of all, we have to find out the energy of photon of wavelength lambda 2. So lambda E2 is nothing but the difference of energy between that is minus E minus 4 by 3 E. That is E2 is nothing but that regarding the wavelength lambda 2, that is the energy difference between this minus E and minus 4 by 3. So you can say lambda E2 is nothing but the difference of energy of photon between minus E and minus 4 by 3. So you can say minus E minus 4 by 3, it becomes plus. So lambda E2 is nothing but minus E plus 4 by 3. That energy of photon of wavelength corresponds to lambda 2. That is delta E2 is equal to E by 3. That is nothing but minus 3 plus 4E by 3. So E by 3, that is nothing but lambda E2. Now energy of photon of wavelength corresponds to lambda 1. That is between minus E minus 2E. That means lambda E1 is equal to minus E minus minus 2E. The energy difference between these two state, that is minus E minus minus 2E. That means E minus E plus 2E. So delta E1 is equal to minus E plus 2E, that is nothing but E. So energy of photon of wavelength corresponds to lambda 1. Lambda E1 is E, and that is delta E1 is equal to E, and delta E2 is equal to E by 3 corresponding to lambda 2 wavelength. Now R is nothing but the ratio of lambda 1 by lambda 2, that is the wavelength ratio, that is lambda is inversely proportional to 1 upon E. So you can say lambda 1 is proportional to 1 upon E1, and lambda 2 is proportional to delta E2. So delta E2 in numerator and delta E1 in denominator, because lambda 1 is proportional to delta E1 and lambda 2 is proportional to energy of corresponding photon, that is delta E2. So R is equal to lambda 1 by lambda 2, that is nothing but delta E2 by delta E1. Delta E2 is from this expression, that is delta E2 is equal to E by 3, and delta E1 is nothing but E. So put the value in place of delta E2, that is E by 3, and delta E1, that is E. E cut, cancel out each other. So R is equal to the ratio of lambda 1 to lambda 2 is nothing but 1 by 3. R is equal to 1 by 3. That is your correct option is A. That was asked in JEE Main 2017. Question number 8. The ratio of longest wavelength corresponds to Lyman and Balmer series in the hydrogen spectrum is. See here, for Lyman series, the maximum wavelength, that is lambda, that means the shortest transition. In order to get the maximum wavelength, that the shortest transition is required. So n equal to 2 to n equal to 1 for Lyman series, and n is equal to 2 to n is 1, that is 1 upon lambda maximum, that is the Lyman. The lambda L maximum is nothing but the wavelength, maximum wavelength regarding the Lyman series, that is 1 upon lambda L maximum is equal to R into Z square. Here Z is equal to 1 because atomic number is equal to 1 for hydrogen atom. So 1 upon lambda L maximum is equal to R Z square, where R is the Rydberg constant and Z is nothing but atomic number, in bracket 1 upon 1 square minus 1 upon 2 square. So 1 upon lambda L maximum is equal to 3R by 4. Taking 4 as LCM, and 1 upon 1 minus 1 upon 4, that is R. So 3R by 4 is equal to 1 upon lambda L maximum. So lambda L maximum is nothing but 4 by 3R. 4 comes to numerator and 3R comes to denominator. So lambda L maximum, that is the Lyman series corresponding maximum wavelength regarding Lyman series. So delta L maximum is equal to 4 by 3R. That is your equation number 1. Now for hydrogen atom, Z is equal to 1, and for Balmer series, that transition, shortest transition is from n equal to 3 to n equal to second orbit. So that is 1 upon lambda B maximum. The wavelength, maximum wavelength corresponds to Balmer series, that is nothing but 1 upon lambda B maximum is equal to R in bracket 1 upon 2 square minus 1 upon 3 square. So here is 5R by 36, that is 1 upon lambda B maximum is equal to, that is 5R by 36. So the maximum wavelength regarding Balmer series, lambda B maximum is equal to 36 by 5R. That is your equation number 2. So taking the ratio of lambda L maximum to lambda B maximum, that is equation dividing equation 1 by 2, that is lambda L to lambda B maximum is equal to 4 by 3R in denominator, that is 36 by 5R. So 4 by 3, that RR get cancelled, 4 by 3 into 5 by 36. So the lambda L to lambda B maximum ratio is 5 by 27 is the correct option. Option number A is correct. Question number 9. An electron of stationary hydrogen atom passes from the fifth energy level to ground level. The velocity of that atom of mass m acquired, the result of photon emission will be what? Most important question that was asked in AIPMT 2012, that R is the Rydberg constant and H is nothing but a Planck's constant. What is the regarding Rydberg's formula? That is 1 upon lambda is equal to r 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square in bracket, where lambda is nothing but wavelength of photon emitted by an electron jumping from n2 to n1 state. So first of all, what is the energy of photon? That is E is equal to Sc by lambda, or h nu. That is nothing but E is equal to Sc by lambda. That is the energy of photon. That is equation number 1. Now what is the energy of photon in terms of momentum? Because momentum P is equal to energy by speed of light c. C is nothing but a speed of light, that is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Now momentum of object, that is linear momentum, P is equal to mass into velocity. So P is equal to mv. That is your equation number 3. Now the transition from n2 equal to 5 to n2 equal to 1, that is your transition from fifth to first orbit. That is already given that the electron of stationary hydrogen atom passes from fifth energy level to ground level. That means ground level means that is your ground state, n1 is equal to 1 and fifth energy level is n2 equal to 5. So 1 upon lambda r 1 upon 1 square minus 1 upon 5 square, because that is based on this formula, that is Rydberg's formula. 1 upon lambda, in place of 1 upon n1 square we put in bracket 1 upon 1 square, and 1 upon n2 square, that is replaced by 1 upon 5 square. So 1 upon lambda is equal to r 1 minus 1 by 25. So 25 minus 1 by 25, that is 1 upon lambda is equal to, that is 24r by 25. So lambda becomes 25 divided by 24r. So from equation 1, that E is equal to Sc by lambda, that is the energy of photon. Put the value of lambda, that is equal to 25 by 24 r in this expression of energy of photon, that we get Hc divided by 25 by 24 r. So 24 r comes to numerator. So it becomes E is equal to energy of photon is equal to 24 Scr divided by 25, where h is the Planck's constant, c is the speed of light in vacuum or free space, r is the Rydberg constant. So E is the energy regarding this. Now we have to find out the velocity of emitted photon. So from equation number 2 and 3, that your linear momentum P is equal to mv, and the energy of photon and P is divided by P equal to E by C. So equating P is equal to mv and P equal to E by C. So E by C is equal to m into V, that is mass into velocity, and E by C in place of energy of photon we write here, that is E is equal to 24 Hcr by 25. So in place of E here we put the value E is equal to 24 Hcr, that is into C. So we get here, that is here 25 is also here. Finally we get 24 HR by 25m. See here, in place of E we put the value, that is 24 by 25 into Hcr. In place of E we put 24 by 25 Hcr by C getting cancelled. So it on the remaining quantity on the left hand side of equation, 24 by 25 into H into R is equal to, H into R is equal to mv. So in order to subject the velocity V is equal to 24 HR by 25m. So the velocity of emitted photon is nothing but 24 by 25 HR by m. Option number C is correct. Question number 10, that ionization potential of hydrogen atom is 13.6 electron volt. Hydrogen atom on the ground state are rarely excited by the monochromatic radiation of photon of 12.1 electron volt. Then the spatial line emitted by the hydrogen atom according to Bohr's theory will be, how many spatial line emitted by hydrogen atom according to Bohr's theory, that we have to find out. So ionization potential of hydrogen atom, as we know, that is 13.6 electron volt. So E1 is equal to minus 13.6 electron volt, that is the ionization potential of hydrogen atom. Now excited photon energy, that is given 12.1 electron volt. The excited photon energy, that is 12.1 electron volt is given. Electron volt is nothing but the unit of energy, that is your excited photon energy is given as 12.1 electron volt, and ionization potential of hydrogen atom is minus 13.6 electron volt, that is E1 is given. So En, that is the nth that is the energy of nth orbit, that is En minus E1 is equal to 12.1. 12.1 is nothing but the excited photon energy. The difference between these two energy, En minus E1, is nothing but 12.1. So En is, in place of En we write here En is equal to minus 13.6 by n square minus E1 is equal to minus 13.6, because E1 is the ionization potential of hydrogen, that is E1 is equal to minus 13.6 electron volt is already right here. That is En is equal to, in place of En we write minus 13.6 by n square minus of 13.6, it becomes plus in the left hand side of equation, is equal to 12.1. So the final equation comes out to be minus 13.6 by n square plus 13.6, because minus getting plus, is equal to 12.1. So after simplify this equation, that is minus 13.6 by n square, when 13.6 becomes negative on the right hand side, so minus 13.6 plus 12.1, it will become minus 1.5 on the right hand side. So minus get cancelled, so n square is equal to 13.6 by 1.5, so n square is equal to 9, so n is equal to approximately 3, that is n square is something around 9, so n is equal to the square root of 9 is 3. So possible transition is nothing but, that is 3, that is 3 transition are possible, that is from 3 to 2, third orbit to second orbit, then second to first orbit, and third to 1. So these are the possible transition, that is the total number of transition possible, that is 3. After absorbing the 12.1 electron volt of energy, after absorbing 12.1 electron volt of energy, electron of hydrogen atom excited to third cell. That means the electron of hydrogen atom is excited to third cell, and the 3 possible transition are there, that is third orbit to second orbit, second to first, and third to first. So option number C is correct. Question number 11. If an electron in hydrogen atom has moved from first orbit to third orbit, first orbit, n is equal to 1 to n equal to 10th orbit, then the potential energy of system has increase, decrease, remain, change, or it becomes 0. There are four possibilities. So if an electron in hydrogen atom is transferred or moved from first orbit to 10th orbit, then what is the potential energy of the system? In a Bohr atomic model of hydrogen atom, U is equal to minus 13.6 electron volt Z square by n square, where Z is equal to 1 for hydrogen atom, atomic number is Z is equal to 1. So U is equal to minus 13.6 by n square electron volt. That much is the potential energy. U is equal to minus 13.6 divided by n square electron volt. So for first orbit, write n is equal to 1. So in place of n square, we write here 1 square, that for first orbit n is equal to 1. What is the potential energy regarding first orbit? U1 is equal to minus 13.6 divided by 1 square. That means minus 13.6 electron volt is the potential energy when you put the value for first orbit. Now for 10th orbit, U10, the potential energy corresponds to 10th orbit is nothing but minus 13.6 divided by n square. In place of n square, we write here 10 square. That means minus 13.6 divided by 100. So it comes out to be U10 is equal to minus 0.136 electron volt. That means U10 is greater than U1. So as it is less negative value, here is, you can say, that is U10, the potential energy of 10th orbit is less negative, which is greater than minus 13.6, because minus 13.6 electron volt is more negative value as compared to 0.136 electron volt. So potential energy regarding 10th orbit is greater than potential energy regarding first orbit. So U10 is greater than U1, or as you can see that it is the less negative value as compared to that of U1 first orbit. So that's why the option is increase. The potential energy when the hydrogen atom moved, the electron in hydrogen atom when moved from first orbit to third orbit, 10th orbit, n equal to 1 to n equal to 10, at U10 it becomes less negative as compared to first orbit. That's why the potential energy is increased. Option number A is correct. Question number 11, that the electron of hydrogen atom revolves around a proton in a circular nth orbit of radius. Rn is given as epsilon naught n square s square divided by pi m e square, and with a speed of vn, the velocity is given as v of nth orbit is given as e square by 2 epsilon naught nh. Then the current due to the circulating charge is proportional to. We have to find out the current, and what is the current, and E is related as. current and charge, the relation between the current and charge. The current due to circulating charge is proportional to. So first of all, the radius of nth orbit is proportional to 1 upon e square. As per this equation, Rn is proportional to 1 upon e square, and the speed or velocity of nth orbit is proportional to 1 upon, directly proportional to e square. Vn is proportional to e square and Rn is proportional to 1 upon e square. Based on these two relations, that is the radius of nth orbit is proportional to 1 upon e square, inversely proportional to, and the velocity or the speed of nth orbit is directly proportional to e square. The time period of revolution, what is the velocity? That is distance divided by time. Here that is circular path, so velocity v of nth orbit is equal to 2 pi Rn, that is the radius of nth orbit, divided by time period t. So subjecting the time period t, n is proportional to Rn by Vn. So t proportional to Rn by Vn. So the time period of that revolution is directly proportional to Rn, but inversely proportional to Vn, velocity of nth orbit. Now the current is given as q by t, charge per unit time, that is you can say current I is equal to q divided by t. So the charge is represented here as electron, the q is equal to e by t. So what is the value of t? T proportional to Rn upon Vn. So that I is equal to evn by Rn. If you put the value of Rn upon Vn, then Vn comes to numerator. So e into Vn divided by Rn. So current is equal to E into Vn divided by Rn. So in place of Vn, Vn is proportional to E square directly, and Rn is inversely proportional to 1 upon E square. So right here I is proportional to E as it is, Vn proportional to E square, but Rn proportional to 1 upon E square. So Rn is proportional to 1 upon E square here, 1 upon E square. So E square comes out to be in numerator, it becomes E has power 3 on numerator, and 1 upon E square when it comes to numerator, it becomes E has power 5. So finally the electric current is related to charge as directly proportional to E has a power 5. I is proportional to E has power 5. So option number B is correct, that the electric current due to circulating charge is proportional to I is proportional to E raised to 5, E has power 5. Question number 12 that was asked in NEET 2016, that given the value of Rydberg constant is 10 raised to 7 meter inverse. The Rydberg constant has a unit, that is meter inverse, that is 10 raised to 7 meter inverse. The wave number of last line of Balmer series in hydrogen spectrum will be. We have to find out the wave number of last line of Balmer series in hydrogen spectrum. So first of all, the wavelength formula, that is Rydberg's formula, that is 1 upon lambda is equal to R. R is Rydberg constant, that is given 10 raised to 7 meter inverse. In bracket 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. For the last line, in case of Balmer series, n1 is equal to 2 and n2 is equal to infinity. For n2 it will be infinity, and for n1 it is nothing but 2. So 1 upon lambda is equal to R. In place of 1 upon n1 square we write here 1 upon 2 square, and in place of 1 upon n2 square we write here 1 upon infinity square. So 1 upon infinity becomes 0. So in bracket 1 upon lambda is equal to R, 1 by 4 minus 0. So 1 upon lambda is equal to Rydberg constant has a value 10 raised to 7 meter inverse is into 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 is nothing but, that is 0.25. 1 by 4 is nothing but 0.25. So 1 upon lambda, that is your wave number. 1 upon lambda is nothing but your wave number. Wave number is in meter inverse, that is 1 upon lambda is equal to 0.25 into 10 raised to 7 meter inverse. That is your correct answer. So that is C is correct.